Okay, we're live. Hey guys, welcome to Cere-Bros, the Alpha Strike show, brought to you for the sake of the HeroClix player, talked about all the things in the world of HeroClix, the game, the competitive nature, the people. Thank you for joining us. I'm so excited to have all my awesome Cere-Bros here. Let's give them a quick hello. I even have some new ones. Their first month on Cere-Bros. We, of course, have... Oh, as Colin was the first thing on camera. Hi, guys. I'm Erks, of course. We have Pedro.
Hello, everybody.
We have a new one, Colin.
Hello.
We have Chris.
Hi, everybody.
And, of course, Brandon, the BZ Master.
What's up, everybody?
So, we have a lot to talk about, guys. A lot of things going on. So, we all just had our ROC State Provincials through the 26th through the 5th and 6th of August. Holy cow, was it an event. Just so much pressure, so much build-up. The team building was amazing. I had so much fun, like, building my team and trying to build around certain things. But I'm interested to hear how these guys did. You guys all attended except for one of them. I won't say who. I'll let him tell you himself, of course. But, BZ, how'd you do? What did you do?
Well, so I built a team. I built Loki with Joker at 50 points, with Proteus on him, Supreme Intelligence on him, Mystique, and Ironheart. Pretty much, I felt like this could be a super nasty team that was really hard to hit, and really the idea behind it was to get Supreme Intelligence out on the map, because I don't think I've seen that done yet, and I think it's really hard to do. But unfortunately, I was unable to go. So go ahead, shame me. Everybody shame me. I could not get out of work because I'm still in the process of moving and going to a new job. And
Let this one slide, but just this one.
Just this one. There's plenty more to come. No worries. All right, Mr. Chris, how about you, man? How'd you do?
Well, you know, I actually went to the one in Tulsa, like you said, and there was stiff competition. The new national champion, Dustin Cedars, was there. Super nice guy. Joshua Ernst was there. A lot of great people, a lot of good players. I think there were 22 in attendance. Four in my day dice rolls. You know, it's definitely a dice game. It's definitely a learning experience, though, you know, and I had a great time and learned a lot of things about, you know, practicing with your team before you go to one of these things. You know, that's a big important step in this process. You can't you know, not the best of us can show up, you know, day with a team and just, hey, there it is. But I ran a cosmic theme team +5, Space Leonardo, Space Michelangelo, Baby Groot, Corian Dean, and the Colossal Wonder Woman. It was actually really awesome. I won a map all day.
Nice.
And
Nice.
played on Prison 42 every game. And actually stole 2 equipment. The only 2 equipment that I faced all day, I took them.
Nice.
Proteus and Calypso.
Sweet. Rodeo is a very big deal.
Yeah, that was awesome, actually. That was awesome. And totally threw him off. And I was like, hey, it worked! Awesome! I wish I had a vehicle to put this Leonardo in now. That would be awesome. But you know, a lot of my games, they came down to last round. You know, I keep thinking back on them. I'm like, man, I won. If I would have just ran away. But I was like, no, this isn't that game. This isn't that game I played 15 years ago. You don't just run.
Sometimes you just run.
Yeah,
Sometimes you can run.
Sometimes you just run. Yeah, great experience. But whenever somebody tells you that it's a range game, oh man, it might be a range game whenever you get to the top 8, but getting there, it's everything. And close combat is just everywhere right now with overdrives and SAM caps and Dr. Octopus. And the new rules are definitely going to make Dr. Octopus teams more relevant.
All right. Well, thank you, Chris. It's pretty awesome. How did you end up finishing? Did you say I didn't?
1-4.
Ooh.
With I think don't quote me on this, but I was like 1050 in points, or not 1050 in points. Like I had the points, just not the wins. And like all my games went to time.
You were killing stuff.
Yeah, I was killing stuff. Like that team is no joke. Like the Corina Dean's defense with other characters against range combat attacks. Nobody expected that, and that was she was my all-star of the day. Calling in my Cosmic SpiderMan to shoot people, give him +1 to damage with her enhancement, and giving him some extra defensive buffs. So yeah, that was really awesome.
Awesome, Chris. Hey, it's an awesome team, man. Carolina didn't. No one ever expect that. I knew she was cool. Mike kept talking about her, but yeah, you missed things.
She's awesome. She's awesome.
Yep.
All right, Colin, our other newest Cere-Bro. How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. How about you?
Oh, I can't complain. I do this thing every once in a while. I'm glad you're here, though. Well, hey, what did you play at our own Utah State ROC? What did you play?
My team was I played the Elseworlds Green Arrow Chase, which there's a funny story behind that. But finish my team first. I played him with the Bizarro Green Arrow and Whiz Kid, and then I played a Call-In Adam with Sam Cap with Overdrive to carry her around and Brainiac possessing Sam Cap.
Nice. And then
go
ahead.
Oh, I was going to tell the story behind the Green Arrow. So I told Eric, 3 weeks before the ROC, that I had a team in mind, and one of the pieces that I was thinking for what the team would have was the Green Arrow Chase. And our venue that we normally play at, Game Haven, they actually sold out of Elseworlds on the first day, so I wasn't able to buy any. So I'm working out of town, and there's a game store right across from where I'm working, so I decided I'd go in there and see if I could buy any. And they had some, so I bought a brick from them, and I called George, because me and him are super close, and I was talking to him about it while I was opening my brick. And as I'm opening it, I'm like, oh, this is the exact same brick that George and Mike got, so I'm going to get the Batman Chase, because it was piece for piece. Every rare and super rare was the exact same. And then as I'm opening my brick, I get to I think it was the second to last booster, and I open it, and I pull it open, and it's the Green Arrow Chase in it. And you can ask George this in one of the future Cere-Bros. I squealed like a little girl on the phone as soon as I saw that piece. And I was so happy because I wanted that piece just because I like the Green Arrow as is, but also because looking forward towards the ROC, I knew that it was going to be a really influential piece in games. I mean, him having the 8 range alone is gross without being able to be targeted. So I won Utah, so I took first.
Awesome.
And
Nice.
Thank you. I think a big part of what it was people saw the Green Arrow and they're like, oh, he's going to keep him back with Bizarro and Whiz Kid and leave those two and then come up with the Sam Cap. But anytime I was playing against a team that was going to be a team that I had to go to them, which was 2 of my 4 games, I think, I take everyone with it. So I I'd have the overdrive carry all three of the all four of the other pieces and just get right up in their faces right off the bat. And people didn't know what to do when there's that green arrow within 4 squares of them, not 9 away. So but yeah, so it was a super good event. The top 2 round that I played had me really nervous. I didn't think I was going to be able to beat him. He won map roll. He picked an indoor map with a ton of walls. He was playing 2 of the Green Lantern super rares, so he kept throwing up barriers, so I had to try and make my way around those without just leaving myself open for his attacks. But I ended up being able to do well enough, I guess, since I won. But it was a super close game, and I was actually surprised that I was able to beat him because he's here in Utah. He, at least in everyone I've played with, he's one of the like high up there players where everyone's like, if you beat him, you're up there with everybody else. So
Nice, Paul.
Sweet.
We'll have more questions for you later, of course. Thank you for sharing that. I'm sure everyone's like, wow, what a team, you know? So, Pedro, our man, how'd you do your event?
Well, unfortunately for Brazil, we only have 1 ROC, which is great because we have one. So we post on our forums and we get the community together. So it was kind of a national championship. So we got 34 people attending. Our last national was just a couple, same or more. So that's the general number. And we pull people from Rio, São Paulo, and in between cities. And we made it in an in-between city called Taubaté, which is between São Paulo and Rio. But you have people coming from all states, which was awesome. You know, good to see friends from the national championship review. You know, receive people then on the forums contributing. It was amazing. It was 5 rounds of Swiss, and then playoffs on top 16. I got 4-1 on the round of Swiss. I lost to a Peace Machine team. I was playing a very cookie cutter team. It was Jaquim with the Eclipso and Supreme Intelligence, plus the Goblin King, and at 75 points, and the Haha Joker 30, and then 3 ID cards: the Nick Fury, Cosmic Spider-Man, and Hawkeye, just in case I faced any Bizarro Green Arrows, or if you needed to get some pogs going. So I'm not gonna go through all the matches. Of course, we can do the funny stories as we go for. But got a Hulk team on my first match. I pretty much memorized the Hulk World Breaker dial to make sure that I don't screw up. So it was a tough match, but under control. The second one was a Peace Machine, and Peace Machine was my donation. I almost lost it to that's one of the top stories I would love to tell, because it was against Thiago, our national champ. And like Colin said, he is the guy that if you have a chance to beat, it's glorious. It's an achievement in and of itself, and I was lucky to get him in the semifinals. Lucky because I managed to win, but not lucky at all. I would gladly win the ROC without facing him, for sure, without shame. But it happened, and I almost lost to Tony Zuko, and this is by far the top story from the match. I would lose, I swear to God, and I can prove it. I'm gonna tell you bit by bit, and Tony Zuko always won the match. I swear. So it had some crazy events. I had one match go to roll off, which wasn't supposed to, and he only did because I was unable to roll 5 or more, and on 2 rolls. And I reminded so fondly of you, Erks, and I said, Erks, I love you, but get out of here. It's only a 5. I have 2 rolls. Come on, I got this. I really got this. The guy gave up the game almost, but thankfully when we went to the roll off, and I'm gonna tell you later, he rolled an 8, and I said, now I'm done for. But then I rolled an 11, and justice was done. But it was a really, really, really cool match. But it was 5 rounds of Swiss. Peace Machine was by far the star, not the most present, but the one who created the most harm and more upsets. Because you get him on a team with a lot of flurry, and you get good calls in. He's great for making your call-ins not be killed, and he's also very good for making people afraid to get close to you. Or if they go after your Peace Machine, once they're done and invested their attacks in Peace Machine, you're not going to have a damage limitation to retaliate on them. So it's a very nasty piece that, if well used, can create a lot of upsets. It created one for me, but luckily with Thiago I was more used to it, and I managed to to pull it off. But then you are top 16. On the top 16, I have some really rough matches, especially because we weren't allowed to change it. There were no different teams between swings and games, so you played your team the whole way through. So I had a couple of rematches. And one of the matches was this one that I went to the roll-off. I won first hand by surprise because I went all out hypersonic strength, hypersonic super strength on Hakim, and one shot Deadpool Merc with the mouth. The guy was playing Hakim,
Oh,
Hakim, Jean Grey, and Deadpool Merc with a mouth to do the TK and call-ins. But he put the guys to the second line. I put them on the second line, and I just went 20 squares forward, killed him, got everybody to token, and came back. I wasn't allowed to do it on the rematch because he got smarter. So we kind of played around at the very end when I was able to hypersonic, and I was going to hypersonic his Jean Grey, but then he called in Merc with a mouth and said, listen, we have no points. I'm going to call his power. No modifiers can be applied to your character. Do you still want your last round? And I said, I want it, because instead of doing your barrier with Jaquin to protect your team, you thought that the Merc with a mouth would be enough, and I can, instead of, I can pick Hypersonic Force Blast and give the 4 damage to Jan and put her against the wall. And he was like, I forgot Force Blast. So I went for it. I missed 5 twice, Erks. Thank you very much. And we went to the roll-off, and it was an 8 against 11.
I had to be there in spirit, right?
Man, it was awesome. It was awesome. I was like, this was so unfair. I won the game. I picked the right power. I got it fair and square. And then, it went to roll-off, but then justice was done. Not justice because, it was a fair game. He deserved just as much. But roll-wise, I got a good roll out of the 2 I should have. That's what I meant. But it was crazy, crazy.
Wait a minute, Pedro. Hold on. You rolled against a what? A Jean Grey to do this?
Yeah.
And you probbed your roll.
Yep. No. Oh, nice. Somebody missed that.
I was going to say, she can't be probbed against.
That's true. That's true. Well, I'm glad we won. Well, but that's great then, because we went to the roll-off, and I won the roll-off, so that's cool. I hit the first. I hit
that illegal roll out of the way so you could win the roll-off.
Yeah,
Right.
I hit the first roll. It was funny enough. The full story is that I hit her for double force, so I didn't even need the force blast because I hit doubles. But then he probbed it with Hakim because on my bad I was bad because I didn't position my Hakim, so it wouldn't be probbed by his. So I had to re-roll. So I re-rolled on his prob, on Jaquin's prob, and then that's where I missed. And then it's where I shouldn't have rolled my prob, but then I missed again. And then we went for the roll-off. Thank God. So cool.
Yeah. It's all legit, man. I didn't think it was like, wait, who are you rolling
I just thought
against?
about it exactly. Very good goal. Very good. Well, needless to say, where people were so nervous that there were a lot of Goblin Kings there at 75 points, and I don't remember anyone giving Nightmare tokens to anyone.
I know.
That power just went by unnoticed.
They might as well say, okay, tell you guys what. Goblin King has willpower at 75 points, but doesn't have the Nightmare trait. Done.
And that's fine.
All right.
That's fine. Exactly.
Oh my gosh. All right. Thank you, Pedro. All right. So this guy, played the same states as the guy over there, Colin. Didn't play against him, thank goodness, but I scrubbed out completely. We only had 4 rounds. I went 1 and 2. The 4th round was cut top 2. We had 16 players. It wasn't the best turnout, but it was consistent. We had 17 for our super qualifier, so I mean that's not a bad result if we can keep that position out of the tournament. But I played Space Leo because I knew that Possessors, equipment should be a thing, symbiotes, whatever with the drops. Those are huge right now. So like, he will kill some of those, I hope. That's the hope. I then played Aldradan, 90 points, Shifting Focus Superman, 90 points, with all the various options of Shifting Focus. And I played the super rare Green Lantern from Joker's Wild. I really wanted to play the drummer. I really want to try that guy out because I felt if you had the 40-point outwit prob with sidestep and then the ability to say no to either a outwit potential prob, that could be huge.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't get one. I never was able to open one, and I was like, Mike told me that the Green Lantern was better because of stealth busting, giving walls out to Leo to jump off of an extra +1 attack. I had options with the walls and barriers, of course. But I also played 2 ID cards, Hawkeye level 7, and the Cosmic Spider-Man because of walls. My team was a Swiss Army team that could take out almost anything I could think of. And I was like, this should be great. This should be good. But I feel that Leonardo, the one thing I think I was having the most trouble with was I was relying too heavily on taking equipments away. In all my matchups, the most anyone had in equipments was 10 points or less. I had a Hulkbuster Torso I went up against, and I also went up against a Symbiote. And I'm pretty sure both games I played with Leo, I didn't take a single one. Every single practice game I played, up until the ROC, I was taking away every single equipment possessor, just hitting it. And then the event comes and, lo and behold, I take nothing away. So
man.
it was rough. And, that's the risk you take when you rely so heavily on a mechanic that you may or may not be paired up against. So it's kind of a bummer, but I had a lot of fun. I learned a lot of things, and I finally got to play against my friend Dano, who I've only played against twice ever in my life. And I played against Mike first round. He and I's records are way too close, so
Yeah, it's kind of it's cool, but it's also a bummer, right? To get paired right to get go.
Especially with your friend you go to the event with. It's like, hey, let's play this together. All right. Let's not get paired together, okay? All right. Just says, hey, you guys are paired. First round. Really? You couldn't win to the last two? All right. So right away, one of us was knocked out. That's opening. That's kind of a bummer. I really wanted the map, but hey, I was happy Colin won it. So proud of him. He's been playing for a really long time. So it was just great to see him play. All of us came out. Thank you so much to all the guys who did. It means a lot to me. All right. So we're going to move on now. Brief intermission before we go to the next segment, guys. I just want to say, for those of you guys watching right now, thank you for watching. We appreciate you having me here to watch us ramble about the game of HeroClix and the way we play the game and stuff like that. If you want to be on the show, just check out our Patreon page. Only $3 a month to join us and just talk about this awesome game. You also have exclusive access to our Facebook group, where we all just talk about most of the same things.
Yeah, better not say, Erks. Better not say.
Gift wars for days. That's what we get. But, all right. So, next on the agenda, what should we talk about next? There was something important. Oh, yeah. I wanted to actually talk a little bit to our champions, both Pedro and Colin, and ask them a few questions about what happened in the event. Now, they did give us some kind of stories, and we appreciate that. These are questions like that if you were going to a ROC state event or a open championship or a super qualifier, maybe you'd like to know what they need to prepare. So my first question for both Colin and Pedro is, what did you guys do to prepare for this event? What mental challenges did you try and do? What kind of practice techniques did you use? Who wants to go first?
Let's let Colin do the honors, since he's the newest member. He gets
that works.
He gets the props.
That works. I don't know. This is only like the third or fourth like high-end tournament I've gone to. I've gone to a couple of WKOs. I've gone to an ROC. And one thing that Eric and Mike always told me was, when you go to these events, you need to think about your team. You need to practice your team so that you know the ins and outs of your team. So, like, as soon as they told me that we were going to have an ROC at our venue and that we were going to be, like, they had, like, a soft date, not a set date set up for it, I started thinking about, okay, what's in the meta right now? What can I play that will do well against the meta? And then as we got closer and Elseworlds dropped, and I was looking through that set to see if there was anything worthwhile in that, again, like, I found that green arrow, and I mentioned it to Eric, and Eric's like, the only problem with him is he doesn't have the ability to move and attack, and he can't go double, even though he's got Wilp or Indom, he can't get 2 range actions back to back. I still saw a lot of potential in that piece because of his ability to take away defense powers. Even though he couldn't take away the defense powers that, like, Jakeem or Goblin King or Al Jordan could pick, he could still get rid of all those reducers that make those games so hard sometimes. So I saw him, and I was looking at the Sam cap as well because of her ability to be moved and then get that non-free action. that is, in my opinion, probably one of the strongest things in the game right now, is the fact that you can take her however far you want, and she can still just be like, I'm here now. So I was set on those two characters, especially after I got the Green Arrow. And then I was originally intending to use the Artemis from the Superman Wonder Woman set, but on the day we had it was like 2.5 weeks before the event, we had a practice for the ROC, and I was looking through my stuff, and I didn't have that Artemis with me, so I'm like, well, that's not going to work. So I started looking at what else I could do, and I looked at Overdrive, and I'm like, I've seen him played. I haven't played him myself. I know that him spitting out that token is super powerful. So I decided to throw him on there, and then I'm like, Whiz Kid for the bonus range on Green Arrow, and then Bizarro Green Arrow for just protection in case I'm against another really rangy team. And then, so that day, I practiced that team right off the start. And that team actually started without Brainiac on it, and it started with the Fast Forces Penguin that gives +1s to attack and range. And that day, I won that, like, our little, like, event that day, too. And then the following Friday, I went to Game Haven and was talking to Eric about it, and me and him decided to play, and I'm like, I'm going to try using the Brainiac instead of the Penguin and see how that works out. And then Eric, playing the Space Leo, takes away my Brainiac, so I don't even get to test that theory. But
Yeah, dude.
that game also taught me how to be hyper aggressive with my team, because I started the game down 25 points, so I had to find a way to get to him so he couldn't just turtle behind the wall, because he had the Green Lantern and the Al Jordan that he could just constantly throw barriers up and keep me away from him. So right off the get-go, I picked up my entire team with Overdrive and took and sat all of my pieces adjacent to his figures. And that game actually came out super close. Eric ended up winning because I missed like 3 attacks that should have hit.
No, you beat me.
No, I thought you won.
No, that practice one in the barn, you beat me. Because I couldn't roll, remember? At the very end, you got me.
Anyway.
We didn't time the game, I think. We did. But you won.
Yeah. It was super close the whole time, and it showed me how to play that team in a hyper-aggressive way and still be able to keep my figures protected against stuff. The only thing that really happened in that game that I didn't account for was I forgot about that Hawkeye's trait that he was using as a call-in, so he called him in and just like, boom, boom, goodbye, Bizarro Green Arrow. Shot him like 7 times in a row.
Yep.
And then proceeded to shoot everyone else on my team, too.
It was pretty great. And then Adam came in. That was pretty rough.
Yeah, and then I colossal retailed with Adam after sidestepping my team away.
And they got a crit hit, by the way. Which
yeah,
you damaged any of your figures.
Nope, I managed to position myself right so that I got a crit hit with Adam without doing any damage to any of my stuff.
Yeah.
But, and then, so that game taught me how to be hyper aggressive, and then the next Wednesday we were gonna practice again, like do just another 300-point modern, and I'm like, I'm just gonna play this again. I need to make sure that I know the ins and outs of the team. And then lo and behold, I got put up against Eric round 1 again, and he took my Brainiac again. And then all day that day, I couldn't hit any of my dice rolls. So I was trying to strategize, trying to position myself. And then, like, in the end, you can have the best strategy in the world, but if you can't hit your dice rolls, it's game over for you anyway. But, so I ended up going, like, 1-2 in that little tournament, which wasn't a big deal. But so I learned pretty much every way I could play that team. And I was thinking of how to have that team come out like 3.5 weeks before the event, and then I was consistently trying to think of how to adjust it, how to make it better. What if I ran into this piece or this piece? I was thinking about what happens if I run into Goblin Kings, what happens if I run into Jakeems with Supreme Intelligences on them, which I played against one of those in the tournament too, and I destroyed the team. So it was just, when you're going into events that are high tier like that, you just need to you really have to think about what you think people are going to play and how to defeat what other people are going to play. Because if everyone were to show up with a Jakeem with a Proteus and a Supreme Intelligence and a 75-point Goblin King, like if everyone in an event showed up to that, it would just go to whoever has the best strategy for it, which that's something that can happen. But especially at Game Haven for our event, we had a lot of people playing teams that you wouldn't think to see in a meta level game, which was cool because it wasn't everybody just going, oh, I have to buy a Jakeem and a Goblin King now, and then I have to buy a Proteus to put on the Jakeem. So it was cool to see people not playing.
Sorry, Colin.
But it was cool to see people not playing the only thing that, like, the people, like, whoever took first, like, whoever became the national champion, that team, like, set the bar. And then it was cool to not see people just copycatting that team over and over and over and over and over again. So, yeah, that's what I did to prepare. Just
Thanks,
lots and lots of time spent thinking about it.
There you go, guys. There you have it. Utah State champ. Give him a hand. Woo! Nice job. All right, Pedro, how did you prepare for your big event?
Not much different actually. What happens here may be funny and Fuzzy. Pity Fuzzy is not here, but Fuzzy made a couple questions. There are two interesting things about Brazil. The first one is that people are usually more interested in doing for fun leagues, you know, because of it's hard to keep up with the current meta and bringing new pieces immediately into the country because of price, availability, etc. But you know they always knew how to play and they always know the best pieces. So it's a fun kind of sparring environment because you get the worst kind of golden age combo ever possible. You have Kyle Rayner with hammers, and you know you can everything you can think of behind within battlefield conditions. So if you can survive a league game, you probably if you can dodge that, you can dodge a dodgeball. So it's in this sense. There's this preparation where you're facing characters that you're not gonna face half of it, and you're already prepared. You already see positioning, you already see the whole map. Map, I think it's a very important component, and not only not only for map awareness, but when building your team, knowing how your team can react to map or crazy stuff that appears there. I think Cosmic Spider-Man does make life a lot easier in this regard. But I think one thing that I do personally, especially since it's hard to train meta, you're gonna get a group that has all the meta pieces to sit together and play their specific teams. One thing that helps me a lot is the funny thing is also that you think that nobody's going to bring the meta pieces because everybody's playing fun golden age leagues, and then when it goes to the tournament, they're all there, 100 Goblin Kings, 100 Hakeems, all the tanks in the world, and I said, what the hell? So people train with daggers, and then they bring cannons to the fight. So that's how Brazilians are sneaky that way. So but what I do personally is I go crazy on trying to memorize the dials for everyone that I think I will be facing there. Not necessarily each dial, but the way I need to take them. Like Hook, you have to get him to stop. It's 2 clicks for the stop clicks, then 6 penetrating damage to do the trick, or at least 4 or 5 to get him in a non-threatening, too aggressively threatening click. Or Doc Ock is 6 and willpower in the beginning, but super senses afterward. Mix is 5 with prestigious strike. If you're not gonna memorize all the relevant dials, at least memorize what is the most efficient way to take down a piece. How do I go at hitting that particular piece and solve it? Goblin King is 75, any 4 penetrating will do. What do I do if they pick Invincible Mastermind? How do I work around that? So if you know exactly what the pieces are going to face, or at least the good universe of the main threats that you're going to face in a competition, and the best way to deal with them, how many clicks they have, where you do not want them to stop. If I recall correctly, you don't want Samantha on her last click because she regenerates. So either push her a little bit before that because she's not effective, and then finishes her, or give her 7 damage or 6-7 damage and go home. So these are the kind of things that help you prepare or not screw up or not putting a guy in a position that's unfavorable to you. And the second thing is exactly what Colin said. Know exactly what your team's skill box is and what we'll do. It's especially harder if you have a team, even if it's a cookie cutter like Hakeem and Goblin King, because then excess of options make you have all crazy sorts of do I get enhancement and perplex on both? No, wait, I don't have to, because if I get range combat expert, I have 2 points to up instead of 1. So I get I have to get the expert on the one attacking, and so all these kind of things. And then thinking range, do I have to save perplex for range or not? Well, but if I call a shield ability, someone with the shield team ability inspiration, that so all these kind of things helps a lot, so they don't have to overthink it or get nervous when you're there. If you know exactly what's your team range, what is the maximum damage it can do, how it can do, you don't get stressed. You just look into what you're facing and say, great, is the guy inside my kill box? Great. Which range is he in? Great, I can do 6 damage within the range. I just have to go to that happy place where I remember all the powers I need to pick in the order, and boom, he's there. So if you get prepared, I got lucky, especially because I drove like 5 people to the tournament on a Saturday, but unfortunately none of them qualified but me. So I had a long drive the next day. So I spent the whole drive thinking about what will I do to face a Doc Ock, Samantha Wilson team. So I said I have to bait something. I have to put. Thank God the guy was using not Peggy Carter but the Joker, so I managed to get stealth and go at an ultra heavy object. And the guy didn't have the damage because instead of putting Dr. Killer Brew, he forgot to perplex Doc Ock's damage to destroy the ultra heavy. So I couldn't get Hakim couldn't get outwitted either by the outwit or the gift, whatever the attachment from the Riddler. So he had to go to Goblin King. Goblin King took the bait, but then I managed to bring Nick Fury in and then nuke Doc Ock out of oblivion. Then it was just haha Joker, thankfully getting plasticity and poisoning Samantha Wilson away. So all these kind of things you need to be ready for when they show up. You don't stutter. You know exactly how to react. You're calm, cool, and collected, and you know how to deliver. Because it's a lot better if you can actually practice and see these options in real. So the back of your mind think about it easier and it's second nature. But if you can't, at least keep practicing your head. What can my team do? What can I face against? Do I have all the tools I need to, if I have to face it, to produce it? Can I produce 6 penetrating damage on the Hulk if I need to? Yes. If not, what can I do? I can 4 damage pulse wave him to the last 2 clicks. That should be enough, if you get lucky. So all these kind of things, man. Do I have 2 barriers to keep him locked in while he doesn't get to his top click? So these are the kind of things that you have to have in mind. So you have your Swiss Army gears, working for when the situation happens. You don't have to struggle to find a way out. You were prepared already. You just recognize the situation versus your ability, and you match them.
All right, thank you guys. That was Brazilian champion Pedro there. Thank you, Pedro.
Awesome.
All right, so I have 4 questions for myself, but I want to ask Chris or Brandon. Do you guys have any questions for these two while you have a chance? I mean, you wrote them down. You're curious about?
No.
No, nothing.
No.
Okay then. Next question, guys. If you guys are watching at home, if you have any questions for these two, please, in the comments of the live chat, go ahead and just write the question. You can put Colin or Pedro or both and ask them a question. We'll answer it here for you guys. Okay, so my next question for you guys is, how did you come about the idea for your team? Like, what made the cogs turn and say, well, this will go with this and this will go with that? How did you get your team ideas? Colin.
Well, I kind of went into it already when I was explaining how I prepared, but like I said, I saw that Green Arrow, and I knew that he was going to be a formidable piece, even against what I was being told by other people. I'm like, this guy's going to be good in these situations. And then from that, it was I had him and then the Captain America, and I was just thinking, what can I do to make these pieces stronger? Who can make these pieces better? What can I do to get Sam up in their faces before they can Alpha Strike me? Like, how can I get Green Arrow moved around without having to give him an action token? How can I get set up right? And it just kind of like all fell into place. Like I said earlier, when I forgot that Artemis and I started looking at other pieces for it, at that point, everything just started to click, because it was like, all right, this is better with this is better, this is better. All these things that if I wouldn't have left that Artemis at home that day, I wouldn't have had the team that I had. I would have had almost a completely different team that wouldn't have been able to do what I did in that game against most of the teams I played.
That's fair. I just wanted to hear you say that this came from basically leaving Artemis at home, and that was the coolest thing about that. So cool. Pedro.
Hey, mine's simple. When I played the Nationals, the Brazilian Nationals, which went to Thiago, I played the Quinjet. I know Quinjet is also a very cookie cutter, but I fell in love with the concept. everything I play, I like to be like the tanky guy, whether it's MMO, RPG, or whatever. I like the tank role. I like to be more defensive and counterattack than ultra aggressive, first hand, in your face, which is a very valid tactic. And I had to pull it off a couple times with the Jaquin hypersonic super strength. But I like the beefy army knife. So, and when I played Quinjet, I loved it because you could call in almost anyone and have a very varied way to deal with problems. Maybe also some cultural event that I like to pull out some crazy plays that makes it look cool. So like your opponent's having fun, although he's being beaten by it. So if you have a team that has flexibility, like a hypersonic force blast, this is the kind of cool stuff that everybody's having fun while watching. So I said, listen, it is cookie cutter. So I take some of the shame blame from Brandon there, but it is because it gives you that flexibility. It's not there because it's not like a Hook World Breaker cookie cutter. And I mean, no offense by those who use him because it's an amazing piece, but it's brute force, right? There's no particular technique. Colossal stamina, step into the guy, hit him like a truck and win. It's all cool and good, but I like to. It allows for so many subtleties, TKs, hypersonic super strength, or RCEs and outwits, and all these kind of crazy interactions that can get you out of all sort of crazy troubles. And of course, unfortunately, it's hard to not have Nick Fury call in or a Green Arrow call in that's gonna eventually get you the game. But what I suffered a lot in the Nationals was that my team didn't have enough pulse wave, and I got some Undying teams there that kind of made my life a mess. I know the Undying teams were not for this rock, but I said I'm never setting up teams without pulse wave again. So that's what I ended up saying. Versatility plus pulse wave. That's what guided my team making.
That's fair, Pedro. And hey, just a small sub question: how did it feel having the option to pick 4 powers on your team?
I mean, it's. I think Hakim. Honestly, I think especially with the new rules, I think Hakim is powerful like a prime should be, but it's not that it doesn't win games by itself anymore. It could in the past. It could allow allowed you. The problem with Hakim, and my personal view, is that you didn't have to play your best. And I think Colin said something which is perfect, which is if everybody play the same teams, then it would be about the best players. So it's Hakim allowed you to go easy on a lot of stuff and miss stuff and still get away with it. I think that Hakim, under the new rules and if the restriction he's got now, will get you to play properly. It's not a free easy pick whatever you want. You still have to find a way to get him willpower, and that's 12 point on Supreme Intelligence, which is an amazing, which is a, and if you come to think of it, resources are still very strong, right? Before you had Phoenix Force or whatever, everybody played them, and then they said Pandora sucks. Then you get Undying Team, and Pandora is the best resource, and then they go away, and the teleporter is amazing. Then the teleporter goes, and Supreme Intelligence is the best. It doesn't really matter. It's free. It's low points. Go ahead.
That wasn't my question, but thank you.
I'm gonna get there. Sorry.
Did you feel powerful picking 4 powers a turn?
Not really.
No?
Sorry, not really. And I'll explain why. Because the team was so well set up that I kind of felt like if I picked the wrong powers, I'll be destroyed. So it to me felt more like a match it for survival than in teams that were more passive, in which I had the initiative. Yes, because then you can just think about how you're gonna get the killing blow. But most of the time, and especially against Peace Machine, it was more like, what can I pick not to die than to kill?
That's fair, Pedro. That's just that is a big thing. You don't want to pick the wrong powers. That's why practice with that is very important. Having the ability to pick 4 powers of PAC for any given turn is like, holy crap! I have this in front of me. What do I do? So at least you knew what you're doing, man. That's good on you.
Powers, you've got to possess Jakeem also.
Oh, I know. Yeah, possess Jakeem's 5 powers and or stats. It's crazy.
Pedro, did you ever go past it? Did you only use Supreme Intelligence just for willpower? Did you ever go past it?
Yes, we debated in one of the games that was going to the roll-off. We debated, if we're gonna have infinite turns, and we decided not to. But we debated, and I said, listen, if you allow, if we go infinite turns because you're not gonna come after me, I'm gonna put Supreme Intelligence out. And then he said, no, let's play turn by turn then, please. So unfortunately, no, it ended up stop. I didn't want to risk getting to Precision Strike and Prob, so I stayed willpower stealth most of the time, all of the time.
Okay, so I think I have one more question. Let's see here. This will be an easy and fun one for you guys. So tell us, what was the best experience that happened during your event? Basically, whether it being a play that you made, an opponent you shared your game with and spoke with afterward, maybe an action that you took that was just epic among all the precociousness, something that just was like, wow, I will remember this forever from this event. That kind of thing. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
All right, Brandon, go ahead.
I didn't go to my event, so
Right.
I'm still shamed.
Chris, did you have anything cool go on? What was the best thing you did? I'm just curious.
Let's see. I guess a real cool memory and saddest at the same time. Last game of the day. It's round 4, and I've got a lot of points, and I'm thinking if I get 2 wins, maybe, a lot of people would have had to lose. But anyway, I was trying to win, and my last round, I'm paired up with this kid who's there with his father, and his father built his team for him. It was 2 Clarions, Proteus, Vanisher, and a Colossal Wonder Woman. And instead of running like I should have, I played that whole game, and that kid told me right to my face, that was the funnest game I had. I was like, that's awesome. That guy's going to play HeroClix forever.
Yep. Brilliant.
So, that was a really cool game. And seeing the confused look when I said, you can't use Proteus this game, that was probably the best part.
That's fair enough. All right, thank you, Chris. All right, Colin.
Yeah.
What was the best experience you had?
In relation to the best action that I could have done, like the best move that I could have made, in my last game, I had my entire team based around my opponent's Jakeem and Green Lantern, because he was initially playing 2 Green Lanterns, and Al Jordan and Jakeem, and I killed one of the Green Lanterns in the Al Jordan, but I was trying to get position so that I could make sure that he couldn't kill me, and I figured the best way to do that was his Jakeem was pushed out, so I just moved my entire team and based both of his figures with multiple people. And what I tried to do was I set my Green Arrow, away from him, and I was going to try and sidestep my Green Arrow adjacent to his Jakeem, because Green Arrow can't make range attacks when he has an action token, but he can still make close combat attacks. So I was trying to sidestep my Green Arrow over and then hit his Jakeem for 4 or 5 damage because of Empower. But I initially tried to kill his Green Lantern with my Whiz Kid because his Green Lantern only had 1 click left. I missed the attack, so I tried to sidestep my Whiz Kid. I missed that sidestep. Tried to sidestep my Green Arrow. I missed that sidestep. And then I tried to sidestep my Overdrive into another position, and I missed that sidestep too. And then right as I decided I was just going to kill his Green Lantern with my Green Arrow because it was the only thing I could do. And I was going to hit his Jakeem for 1 more damage with my Bizarro Green Arrow. And then as I made that attack, I missed that attack on Jakeem. I killed his Green Lantern, and then time got called as I was getting ready to sidestep Bizarro Green Arrow away or onto the other side of Jakeem to keep him from running away as easily. So it would have been a really cool ability to have just erased the Jakeem with that Green Arrow at adjacency instead of from range, but I wasn't able to sidestep with any of my characters that turn, so I ended up not being able to do anything. Time got called at the end of my turn, and he went first, so that was the game right there. And if he would have had 1 more turn, I probably would have lost that game because he would have been able to move his Jakeem around. But that was probably the best quote-unquote experience because it was just I failed 4 or 5 sidesteps, and it was just like, okay, I'm just going to stay here then.
Right on. All right, Pedro.
Well, first, I think all my opponents were great, and I have no preferred one. They're awesome. I thank them so very much for the opportunity. But I did get scared shitless when I had to play Thiago in the semifinals. The guy is an undefeated player in Brazil, period. With international experience, he knows everything about the game. And to make matter worse, he had a crazy team with Worm from the Turtles. Do you remember the Worm? 150
Oh,
points.
Yeah.
Yeah, Worm from the Turtles, Peace Machine, Atom for the Retaliation, a Mary Droid, and then all his I'm missing and the tank and the Pin Particle tank, and all his Retaliator had Flurry except for Nick. So he has the Superior Spider-Man, which I had as well as in the sideline, which is an amazing call-in. Superior Spider-Man, the BVS, Wonder Woman, and then Nightwing. So basically we played cat and mouse. We went for the Wakanda team. He won map roll, went to Wakanda, so he could make. He wasn't using the ring because it didn't fit the points. He went through all the bushes in Wakanda. It was very hard to hit. I had the chance to take 2 out of his Colossal Retaliation, and when I was going to, it occurred to me that he set up this crazy team is so awesome that it doesn't matter where you are in the map. If you're too close, he's gonna get someone to flurry you for 6 damage because Peace Machine is there to make sure that you only take 3. But if your whole team can flurry, you're gonna get 6 damage. So if I have to overpower Hakim to get someone and do damage, then I don't have defenses and I'm gonna take 6. If I don't, then he's gonna slowly creep up. And even if I don't, when a Mary Droid is perfectly to reposition someone into the calling range and then nuke you for 6 again. And that's why I thought that Peace Machine was great and still very nasty for upsets, because if I go there and pulse wave, running shot, pulse wave, Peace Machine, again, I have a naked Jaquin because Nick Fury is not going to care about any reducers that's not invincible to be, blown out by Nick Fury. So he started to slowly creep up. I was always positioning myself in a way that he was also worried about losing a piece. So we played cat and mouse for a while, and then he had me beat. He saw what he needed to creep up enough to beat me, and he started. And since we know each other, we have a channel together. We discuss all the time. We weren't, buying time. So we said, listen, what you say, whatever you want to pick your power, I'll pick my power. We don't care. We don't fool around. We know what you're gonna pick. There's no shenanigans or crazy calls. Let's just go for it. And round after round after round, so no one was stalling anyone. So when he got close enough, and that was to me was the craziest moments. I was the dumbest face ever by far in the competition. He managed to call Nightwing. Nightwing stepped in. First flurry attack he used again to put the tank, and the tank smashed my team, separated Hakim from Haha Joker and the Goblin King, and then he hit flurry for the second attack. Goblin King is on his last click, and then the guys call last action. I was this one to play. Sorry, last round. So in Brazil we were doing I would play my full round after him, and so he had his last attack. He already called in with Worm, attacked with Nightwing, and the only thing he has left was Tonizuku. And he said, Tonizuku is going to attack you. And I thought he was joking because this is a Pog. It's not going to have range. It's going to be 1 damage. But he has 5 range and 2 damage. And Goblin King has Darkness. So he had a 9 on a 17 to win the game, because I wouldn't make 75 points back on my turn even if I wanted. So he rolls 7, and then he probs 7 again. And when he passed the turn back to me, I'm so nervous that I'm making calculations like, does the tank has 1 life? I cannot poison the tank. I remember I can't poison the tank because it has 2 life when it comes. So I'm going to flurry and steal energy, and I don't care. So then they called it, and Thiago said, why are you making so many calculations? I spent 2 ID cards. You're 10 points ahead anyway. Congratulations. And I was like, oh my God. So it was crazy. I could have died to Tonizuku right there. Right. Tonizuku, who cares? Rangeless 1 damage. No, 5 range, 2 damage. I'm never forgetting those stats ever again. Ever again.
Scared of a Pog. That's the real fear.
Man, I was like, it's gonna win, and I won't like to explain that. How did you die? Well, do you remember Tonizuku? Yeah, he killed Goblin King.
That would have been a great story.
Yeah.
I wish I had more cool stories. I just want to say that everyone I played against the ROC was just great players. Mike, Alan, Dano, just all my friends. It was great to play against all of them. Nothing really cool happened. I really kind of turtled most of the games I played. So and never worked out for me. So I need to play more aggressive. So I play, but well, that covers the ROC as far as questions I had. Was there anything else you guys wanted to put in at all?
Nope. Just excited to go to Atlanta and see you guys. So hope
Okay,
you guys can all make it.
that's all in talks. But yes, I am trying to go to Rocktober this October. Hopefully with my friend Colin over here. We're both going to go hang out, picnics for 3 days straight. Go crazy. But we're looking at travel things right now, so that will be our first step. So I want to now wind down a little bit, guys. This is our part of the show where we kind of just sit back, relax, and talk HeroClix. For those of you guys watching at home, you may or may not love this part. So we just kind of like say, wouldn't that be cool if, or are you guys so excited for, those kind of things. So, hey, Thor spoilers. How are we feeling about this upcoming set? You guys see anything, heard anything? Excited for stuff?
I'm loving these objects. I'm loving, like, I mean, we're seeing objects as low as 2 points up to 10 points that do so much. And I think there's like 20, isn't there like 23 objects set for this set?
24.
24.
Wow. I've only seen the one that the uncommon dude comes with. That it's like Steel Energy and
Battle Fury.
Yeah, Battle Fury and something else. I saw that and I'm like, that's 10 points? That's only 10 points for that? That's like such a game-changing thing.
Yeah, these objects are going to be something else. I'm really excited to see all of them. Even that, like, the one that gives you knockback for 2 points, that's okay. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's why, like, Mike Nita the other day was like, that Blood Axe is what? I think Pedro was saying that Blood Axe is Worldbreaker Hulk's brand new best friend.
Exactly. They're going to be inseparable. You might even sculpt one into the piece because they're not going to play apart ever again.
Even the Hulk that's coming up, where he's been. I like how they're giving like these Hulks this whole like pretty much leap, climb, move, quake. It's pretty cool. And it's something that we've seen. But this will probably be like the second or third Hulk that does that in recent sets. So it's pretty cool.
And for those of you guys watching at home, Mike can't be here. But if you miss Mike, please comment now or later saying, we want Mike. We want Mike.
Yeah.
He'll start coming on here. Because, we all love him. He's a great little ranter when it comes to this kind of stuff. But, yeah, I don't know. I noticed the point values in you guys are a lot higher. All the ones I've seen so far. Kind of worried we got to take it back up a notch.
I don't mind points. I think we have four. We have 4 objects that we know about so far. Like we have the Blood Axe, which is 10 points. That's the one Colin's talking about. Battle Fury, Exploit Weakness, Steel Energy. You have Thunder Strike, which has Force Blast and Leap Climb, and then you heal 1 when you knock back a character at least 1 square.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have the Mace, which is 2 points, and it does knockback. And then the other one we have is that shield, Asgardian shield.
Yeah, with ESD for 4.
And 4 points for ESD, which 4 points for ESD is a great thing.
That 50-point cap in that starter is ridiculous. That's just unreal.
I think if you come to think of it, I think it's the overall great idea where giving some flexibility without overdoing it. It's still an object, you have a limitation on your team, but sometimes you have this piece that you really want to play, but you miss having ESD on him, whatever. Then the shield solves your problem. It's not going to be like a battery, and I'm not criticizing because there were great days where the batteries were there, in which you have almost every single power available to give your character. So it doesn't matter. All your team play with whatever you want. So I think it's a well-behaved, toned-down way to say, wouldn't it be great if I could give knockback to this particular character? Yes, now you can. Or even something more, or something stronger, like Battle Fury, Steel Energy to Hook. Great, but it's 10 points and it's limited. It's not going to give 1. It's not like it'd be a hammer for every guy plus 2 attack and something crazy to your whole team. So it's I think it was a good call on number and availability of power. Of course, we still have 22 to go. We don't know if any one of them is going to give you hypersonic pulse wave that combos together, but hopefully not. So
Right. Okay. Wow. I mean, years ago, you guys from the point tossing the figures. They seem a little high to you at all?
I mean,
Yes.
not what the figures can do. I mean, Thunderstrike, he's 115 points, but he's a 19 starting out with Impervious.
Yeah.
Which is awesome, and he's indomitable.
He's good. Yeah.
Only pulling his object with him, and he plays that on him for free, right? Pretty
Yeah.
sure.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's just awesome. But for 115 points, I would play him for sure.
Yeah. He's very. I mean, he has that empower, that enhancement, and then he's got the. So basically you attack somebody first, and you can get a +1 to his attack, kind of thing.
Yep.
You might be able to get that. I think you get that multiple times, but it's not unique. If you get multiple people to damage
The
with
rules
his,
kicking, you play with Captain America from Avengers Defenders for 50 points, and he's within range taking tokens off of him. Like, that's crazy. That's 165 points. That's so crazy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the hammer has to be paid for 10 points for him, because it's not like the one from the starter that sort of cap says he gets the shield at no cost. I think the guys just can start that equipped rather than you go fetch it and get that. That's simply 10 points for him. But 125 for all that stuff is still really good.
Yeah, it's a bit confused that it says it starts equipped, but doesn't say whether it's costed or not. It should have said start equipped, but or build in the cost, whatever. It's just that kind of force you to pay the 10 without saying you're paying for it. But I agree with you. If you read the shield, it says at no cost, and this doesn't.
And they did that with the Civil War cards. With the Captain America and Iron Man thing for 5 extra points and
optional traits.
Prime. Yeah, the optional traits. So I figured that would be like part of it, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to see Title Thor. I really want to see Title Thor.
Oh yeah, I can't wait.
And like I had this interesting idea. So you guys know how the equipment rules as of now say that they can't be equipped to a non-standard figure. What do you guys want to bet that Thor Frog, like Throg or whatever, is a tiny sized character that somehow gets a hammer and breaks that rule? What if his weapon can be given to anyone who's only tiny size? Wouldn't that be kind of neat?
Nice.
That would be awesome.
Some tippy-toe wielding hammers.
Not even tippy toe. Mini Shredder, man. Mini Shredder.
Yeah.
Holding
Mixie.
Throg's hammer or Mixie. Yeah, This could be scary. I want to know what they're doing with that.
Yeah. That's an interesting point.
Right. Mike was talking to somebody in Facebook chats, and they brought that up. I'm like, that could be something, because I wouldn't put those WizKids to break the rules. Sam, Cap. But, But, yeah. I don't know. And as far as Undead goes, we have a micro set alongside Thor, guys. And what do you guys feel about that? Does that seem like a cool idea to you? Like a HeroClix return kind of feeling? Or
I love it. As long as they can keep, I just like that they're making indie sets that compete with like the Marvel and DC sets. Like you can put them with modern teams and play them. Still, they're strong. Like I think a lot of the indie sets back in the day weren't that strong. I know Yu-Gi-Oh was strong. There's some broken stuff in Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
But back when we had Street Fighter, like Street Fighter couldn't compete with Marvel or DC figures back then. And I think like you see things like this zombie Abraham Lincoln is freaking awesome. I'm not a huge Jekyll fan, but I think Jekyll could be really good. I kind of wish he would start on. I don't know. I kind of wish he would start with the Perplex Outwit rather than start with the support on that dial. But I guess it kind of makes sense too. I think Death is going to be really strong. I mean, for only 80 points, Death starts off with an Invincible, and then Death has 4 clicks of regeneration. So like the minute you get Death down, she's going to heal right back up. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you put her with Beast Machine, your guy's gonna have double the worries to get her down.
Yeah, I like seeing like a lot of growth with the monster keyword. Like we just got a lot of chases that have the monster keyword. We have a lot of chases from Joker's Wall that this paired with. I mean, y'all know me. I like making theme teams to begin with sometimes, and so like being able to, you know, pair up different theme teams and being able to like just kind of like put different sets together is like one of my favorite things to do. Like one of my favorite things to do when I'm building teams is trying to use like one figure from each, like make sure I only have one figure from each different set and try to get everything together. You know, just to kind of, to me, that's kind of fun. Just see how different sets pair up together.
So teams don't have to be themed?
No, I like theme teams. I try to build off theme teams.
That's like all I build with. That is like all I build with. Every single time, no matter if it's like stiff competition or just casual, it's always theme team, no matter what.
I really shouldn't, but I always tend to build a theme team because some people say building with theme is not nearly as powerful and it limits you to just build whatever you want. But I feel if I build theme, build a strong team, I'm trying to build that could beat that handicap, I guess, to say, hey, I'm good enough, I can just take certain keywords, make a great team, other than just saying, wipe away keywords, make a good team, and say, I'll beat you completely.
Well, plus Eric's dice needs as many team probs as he can get.
Yeah. Yeah, he can.
You know, bow stabbity, it hurts sometimes. Just saying.
Eric, you should always build a team with at least 3 probability controls.
I'm working on it, okay? It's really hard to find that many probs at low points. I want some attackers too.
Or you just need to own the shredder teams.
Yeah, I don't want to shell out $300 for a shredder team. I'm fine.
I'm hopeful that and guys, please correct me if you feel differently, but I'm hoping maybe the WizKids can be a bit more generous with the keyword now that the ATAs are out of the picture, so they don't have to be as strict about allowing some combos like Marvel Knights and other crazy, Red Warriors, whatever, Red Hood, crazy Atlas. That now that things are more under control, and that team. The benefits of team are still decent, but not as aggressive. Map is still a big thing, and and probability control is always great. So now that they can be a little bit more forgiving, which is a welcome flexibility, right? I think everyone that plays for a while would love to have a competitive team that's team. It's a challenge to your team building ability plus the team itself, the swag points, whatever. So I hoping that WizKids can be a bit more forgiving so that you don't disincentivize the practice and keyword just becomes something that's on the card.
Well, remember, like, leadership's getting better with the keywords because like we're gonna pull tokens off of shared keywords. And then remember, theme team probs are getting better because you could have, if you have a named theme team of 6 characters in a 300-point game, you're gonna have 6 theme team probs.
Yep.
Because you're going to have max 6 theme team probs because they want it all on 1 dice. But you're not going to be limited to just 3. Like, you're not going to be limited to 1 per 100 points anymore.
Yeah.
So, I mean, awesome. I think there's going to be some good benefits to fielding big teams and big theme teams at that.
And you're totally right, Brad. Like, the keyword thing, both Pedro and Brad, that should really be considered into every figure. Like, I look at the shifting focus guys as a keyword mecca. Each one of those figures in those line of shifting focus have different ones to kind of show off their different teams. Like Deadpool's a good example. Some of his have X-Men, some of his have X-Force, some of his have whatever, martial artists or Thunderbolts. I'm like, so what you're saying was, because if I start with this one on my team as my starting, I have a theme team, and if he shifts, sure, you can't theme team prob, but I still got my pluses, my bonuses, and my initial theme team prob on the side. Yeah. That is really cool. That's something big that will happen down the way. So, that's pretty cool.
I think detective is my favorite keyword to build Deadpool with.
I know, right? The fact that he has the
It's so awesome.
he can play with
Detective.
Batman.
So awesome.
So,
I
I've been
know,
trying to
yeah.
build-
Shifting focus Batman. Shifting focus Deadpool. Awesome.
I've been trying to build reporter teams just so I can get Superman and Spider-Man on the same team.
Yes,
Nice.
reporters.
Those generic keywords, and that's why I really hope with the Undead set that even when they put in new named theme team keywords with that set, which I love when they make a new outlier set, they make brand new named keywords included for TMNT and now Undead. It says, hey, we're open to making new keywords like Wakanda. We got Wakanda finally, which is kind of sad because it's so far into the amount of Black Panthers and stuff we've had. It's like, oh, I have 5 options for Wakanda keyword. Please more. So
Yeah.
hopefully we'll get those coming forward. But like as we get the ones from Undead, I'm like, okay, Undead Army or Undead Horde, and I see Politician on Zombie Abraham. Yeah, he can play with KC Green Lantern. Yeah, theme team. Why wouldn't
I talk as well. I don't remember.
What?
Nighthawk Prime got it.
Yeah, that Hack Prime has it too. So there's just so many options coming out, guys. It's so exciting for the game of HeroClix, and I can't wait to play with new rules. Speaking
Yep.
of which, those things come out on the 21st to everybody.
9 days.
9 days, guys. Christmas is coming early this year.
And so that means I have two more local events until we're actually playing with nothing but new rules.
So is that what you guys are going to do? You guys going to go straight to new rules once you guys all have access to it?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think you're supposed to, no?
They haven't said we're enforcing this, but I imagine everyone's going to want to. I think everyone's been clawing at them saying, please, let us have these.
Except for Robert.
I know.
I heard all about it, and Chris is always like, it's not up to me. I'm all about it. Hurry and get him out there, but that part's not up to him anymore. He's just out there trying to make sure they make sense, kind of thing.
And I guarantee every judge at every venue has been like, oh boy, this is so nerve-wracking. I have to learn a whole new rule book and help make sure I can judge my guys and make sure they have a good, fun, fair event. Oh my gosh, this is so stressful. I can imagine it's probably come out already. But
I think
it's nice to know we're getting them soon. I have one more event before I get them, so that'll be nice. But I did hear, Pedro, do you know, is every single ROC event, even through October, going to be current rules right now, or are they going to change over? Because I thought I saw somewhere that Howard was saying they're going to keep current rules. Do you know?
I don't know. I'm gonna look into it. I was thinking that we would go news rules because it would be almost a month. Well, maybe he can claim the month rule and say it's current because it won't be out for a month. But I don't have any confirmation there. I have to look into it.
Okay, that's fine. I didn't know. I was just thinking if it came out on the 21st of August, we're into 15th or so of October.
I will be sorry. It's October. I'm making my calculation. It's gonna be more than a month. I'm guessing new ones. I'm guessing new ones.
I'm hoping so. But.
Yeah. Would be awesome as well, right? Otherwise we're gonna just see same thing over and over. And okay, we're gonna see a lot of Doc Ocks, but it is what it is.
Yeah, there's all talks of Doc Ock, Beast, Scrambler, Bizarro Batman saving you from Outwit, and a whole bunch of things. So I'm excited to see what happens.
I think you're gonna see some. I don't know. Hopefully, I like my Bat Flick, so you might see my Bat Flick in there, who has the Superman TA and Outwit.
No, I know. Jeez.
I'm gonna play Zeus, by the way. I'm just gonna take Zeus 200 and find another 100 points to play around. That's it. Easy cheesy.
All right, so we're going to now roll into our community questions. You guys ready? I think we have a couple, maybe one or two. Not too many this time around, but that's okay. We have one on Facebook. I'll go ahead and read this one off. This is for all of us, guys, as best we can do, so be prepared. Let's see here. Am I on my face? Making sure I don't have someone to jump on something. That's always nice. So this is Ronnie Andrew. He's on our Alpha Strike HeroClix channel. I want to let you guys all know watching. we do have an Alpha Strike community page now set up by BZ. If you want to jump in on that, where you guys can talk with us, all of us guys here on Cere-Bros, talk about your team building, talk about ideas for things, advice, whatever, go ahead and look for it on Facebook. It's pretty easy to find, just the Alpha Strike community channel, Facebook page, whatever. Ask for an invite from any of us. Of course, we'll let you in and just join the awesome community that is us as well as everybody else out there, because there's so many channel pages. But Ronnie asks, a few questions for you guys. Should something have been done to fix Jakeem Thunder? Does anyone have an opinion on this matter?
Please refer to my wrong rant 15 minutes ago. That will be my comment.
Check. Colin.
No, I think when he first came out, he was really, really like almost at the point of being broken because of just the fact that he could do whatever he wanted. But I think we've had enough sets come out since Joker's Wild, and there's enough pieces in those sets that can get around Jakeem that I think it's okay that he's where he is right now. And like they came out with Goblin King, who's like Jakeem 2.0. It's like Jakeem, but with power cosmic. And it's like, and then like look at that. They went and they fixed it. They made it like, oh, if you play him at 75 points, you lose that power cosmic, which fixed that piece because everyone was like, I have a 75-point piece. It's going to destroy your entire team because you can't do anything to it. So, no, I feel like Jakeem's in a pretty good spot right now.
All right. Hey, Chris, anything from you, buddy?
You kind of cut out for the question. Is the question about Jakeem's?
If something shouldn't have been done with him as well, if leaving him be was the best choice on the watch list.
Yeah, and with the new rules, he's fine. He's fine the way he is. I watched Dustin Cedars beat Jakeem Goblin King in the top 4 with double Gertrude lace, old lace.
Jeez.
So yeah, it's totally beatable. It's just all about how you play and when you strike. And when you strike first, you strike hard.
Yep.
Thank you, Chris. We may have lost Brandon. Brandon, are you there?
I am. I'm having camera issues, but you can hear me.
we have you audio-wise. Do you think Jakeem is fine the way he is, or should something have been done?
No, Jakeem's fine.
Okay.
With the new outwit, he's more. I mean, he's more than fine. There's plenty of pick-a-power characters. There's plenty of ways you could essentially KO Jakeem in one turn. You just have to hit him for 8. I mean, there's Jakeem's beatable. I don't know. Like I said, I think for me, the part that they could have fixed, I wish it was more of a free action than beginning of the turn. I just think, I think it would quicken the game up if it was a free action where you could do it whenever, rather than trying to calculate your entire beginning of turn before picking all this stuff.
I totally agree. That'd probably be a better way to play any kind of pick your powers, make it a free action instead of a beginning of the turn, because so many people, including myself, I always worry about, am I going to forget my pick-a-power? Are they going to call me on it if I forget and, accidentally go too far? I always have that worry. I'm not sure if Pedro ever had that fear going into his events, but
I had the Rob Phobes, colorful things, and it was a mess. It's very helpful, but if I were my opponent and hit me in the face, I wouldn't complain. I would just say sorry and rock on. Because it's annoying. But one the beginning of the turn thing is as well is I completely agree with Brandon. But think about Iceman. If Iceman hits the Goblin King, he has an advantage because he won't give them the free action. But Hakim still gets his defensive power to protect himself against Iceman. So I think that is a little bit unfair, but I don't think anyone did it on purpose. It's just so many rules and so many characters, it just slipped by. But they could, that one, I think I wouldn't cry if they just said Jakeem's a free action as well, not a beginning of the turn.
That's fair. All right, guys, next one. This is pretty broad. I mean, I applied to all of us, but we'll see. Ronnie asks, do any of you have a success story of triumph over Jakeem Thunder?
I actually played against 2 Jakeems at ROC, at our ROC, Eric. the first one I played was actually, it was a Jakeem and Goblin King team, with the Jakeem having, I think it was Brainiac and a Supreme Intelligence on it. And then he had 3 ID card Collins too. And that game was just me trying to wait for the right time to strike. Because he won map roll and he picked that Wakanda map with the bonus defenses. But what he ended up doing was he called in his Nick Fury with Jakeem and tried to shoot at my Green Arrow, but because I had Bizarro Green Arrow there still, I ended up taking it with Bizarro Green Arrow, reducing his damage, so I only took a little bit. And then he picked support powers with his Goblin King. He picked probability control and perplex for it. So I was able to just shoot his Goblin King that turn and then Colossal Retail with my Adam to... I was hoping to hit his Nick Fury and then for 2 with the Adam and then shoot the Nick Fury with my Green Arrow to get 120 bonus points off that game. But I ended up missing the Colossal Retaliation, but I was still able to shoot his Goblin King because he didn't pick any powers with it. He didn't pick any defensive powers with it. And then I was just able to whittle my way around and pin his Jakeem down with all my figures. And then, like I said earlier, when I played against Rebel for first place, he was playing Jakeem and Al Jordan, which are both big power figures, with 2 of the Green Lanterns. And it was all about strategy, and when you get that video edited and put up, you'll see all of the strategy that you can see me and Rebel both counting our squares, trying to set up right. There's a point where I literally just sacrificed my Sam cap because I needed to get positioned better, because I knew if I just gave him that 95 points because of the Possessor, I'd be able to come back from it. So that's the successes I had over Jakeem at the event. I was just, like going back to the first question, Jakeem's not broken. You just have to know how to play against him.
Right.
I agree completely. No, I faced the same one twice, like I said on the rematch. The first one was kind of easy. You just got Merc of the Mouth, double token everyone, and just play around. But I think Colin got it right there. I mean, the thing about Jakeem is that to be super effective offensively, he trades off defense. So you either go hyper aggressive and you have a way to cancel his defenses and just eat him. Doc Ock has no, especially after Outwit, he's not gonna have a lot of worry, or even with Dr. Killbeer by his side. Get Baggy beside him, take Invincible off, and just outwit whatever else, and that you're done. And 2 attacks for 4, and he's done. So you either hyper aggressive, take his defense off, and deal with him, or position himself or bait him into going effective on aggression and then counterattack him. His 8 clicks, his last click is dangerous because he can degen. But other than that, if you get him to mid clicks, he's good, but he's not. His main strength is his first click with sidestep, running shot, pulse wave for 4 and prob. His first click can do some damage, can really mess you up. The other 2, okay. But but it's 100, and the way he's played as 177, let's say, with an Eclipse and a Supreme Intelligence, is more than half of his team for a very cool, flexible first click. But if you know how to work it around, I'm going to be repeating what Colin said. If you know how to work him around, you can disarm these 150, 170 points without much sweat. Now, if you have a glass cannon team that's hopeful that things will go crazy, then it's not Jakeem your problem, it's the team.
Right. Chris or Brandon, did you guys ever slay a Jakeem lately yet?
I've slayed many Jakeems. Mainly with I used to run like a Seafort Batmite Krang team for a while.
Oh.
Yeah. Meta, so I've one turned to Quinjet before with that team.
Whoa.
Yep.
That's a hit.
Krang Justin.
Well, yeah, people always underestimated Batmite back in the day. Like, they don't realize you can get a 3rd attack off of Batmite.
Mm-hmm.
Like, normally you're using Krang and Justin to get the 2 attacks, you use a Batmite to bring him back to, like, Night Nurse.
Right.
But when you're going against a Quinjet, that thing is a freaking beast. So sometimes you just want to take it out as quick as possible.
Chris, how many Jakeems have you slayed?
Brandon, did you have something else?
No, I mean that's.
I
I mean, I've actually. So I have done. I remember I did a 400-point game against Jakeem against KC Green Lantern and Jakeem,
Oh,
and I took out that team with KC Batman. I had Bat Knight, KC Batman, and Black Bat. I took out that
nice.
team, you know.
Mike would approve.
Casey Batman can hit hard, and you know if anybody can hit that 20 attack, Casey Batman can.
Yep.
And it was nice because I think I had at that time I had Joe Costa. I don't remember who I had I had Joe Costa on. I think I probably illegally had Joe Costa possessing Casey Bat Knight. I probably wasn't supposed to.
Oh, because he's giant?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's giant.
But I gave him a
good. You
reflex,
just put him with her powers, but you can't possess him. It's just useless.
I was giving a KC figure perplex so I could, you know, modify Batman, which normally you can't unless you have a KC figure to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my only. That's the only other time I haven't really faced Jakeem. Other than I think we did a battle royale against a Jakeem, and we just freaking all went after Jakeem off the bat.
Yeah, I don't think it's a
Good choice.
Yeah, might as well. Got lucky on the pool, not lucky on the match.
No, it's like everybody targets that guy.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, no, I have never faced a Jakeem. Like, every time I think I'm going to face one, I don't. And the most competitive player that I play in our local area, every time I think that he'll play one, he plays Nick instead. It's always Nick instead.
It's always a toss-up for sure. I have faced only a couple Jakeems, like Chris said. They aren't played a lot at our venue, and if they are, it's usually like at a random casual event or at one of our big ROC events, but I don't get paired against them. When I was practicing with my team, I had Mike play a Jakeem proxy because I traded away both of mine that I've had because I didn't want to win an event with Jakeem. I refused to say, he's won X events. I don't need him to win. And so I put him aside, said, okay, if he's gone, I can't go with him. But I wanted to play against him again. I play against Mike, and you guys know how good Mike is, and my gosh, you give that guy pickup power, he blows your freaking mind. So my team actually did beat Jakeem's team that I play against one of the big ones that's always played. It's always like Jakeem with some TK and some other stuff, whatever, all the possessors. But I got the last click, and then our timer went off. I'm like, I almost killed Jakeem, but I killed everything around it, and so I beat the team. So it was nice. It's good to know there's 150 points of stuff around that Jakeem I can kill instead of him trying to win, and just not lose things to big swings. So nothing crazy there, but I try. All right, last one from Ronnie, guys. Let's see here. He says, what was the most creative team you came across at States? Whether it was in person or you read about in an article or like a review or something like that.
I have one from my Swiss rounds, the one that almost got my second loss. It's a very clever team. It has the Goblin King at 75, and that's the only thing that's cookie cutter. Then you have the KC Green Lantern just for the perplex and doing some walls, some barrier to keep the team neatly protected. Then you have Mixie, and you have the Serpent, the new token that came with Dormammu, the Spider Serpent. And then you have a Mary Droid, and Betty Brant and the Frogman. So basically the Frogman kicks Mixie and Betty around to get them in their perplex sets. You go to a map where the KC Green Lantern can bury everybody, and then if anyone attacks, a Mary Droid brings them into the team. Mixie pulse wave him, he's locked down, and then Goblin King can pick whatever. It's going to be perplex. Betty Brant has perplex, and Mixie can make the lockdown character colossal so that a Mary Droid can hit him as a friend. So it was a very clever team, one that you have to approach very carefully, because if you didn't, he would drag you in and lock you down and beat you up. So it was very, very clever, and it's not something that people paid attention to immediately. So eventually you would hear people playing, and then you would hear, "Oh no, I saw what you wanted to do." So it was a neat, very clever team. So and then I got some lucky rolls, and he got some unlucky rolls, and I managed to pull out of the trap and get away with it. But it was a very clever, very outside of the box, convoluted in the sense that many pieces have to move around, but the guy was very experienced and played it to a T. So it was really cool.
Nice.
I played against.
Go ahead, Colin.
Okay, I played against in my third round. It was actually Jake Robinson from the Rule of Three podcast, but he was running a Shredder clone with the Oceanic Resurrection, an Armagon possessed by Brainiac, and Brimstone Colossal Retail. And as soon as I saw that Armagon, I was like, that game scared me a lot, because that Armagon just being able to attack you, and it's like, oh, I have 2 action tokens, they're going to attack you again, or phasing up to you and attack you after it because he has 2 tokens. It was a scary team. It was a lot of me running away from him and then slowly creeping back up. I was telling Eric about it later in the day after the tournament was over. What I ended up doing was taking Pensai from Brainiac with Samcap and bumping a range up to a 6 because of Brainiac and WizKid, and just Pensaiing his Armagon, because it was the only way I was feeling comfortable enough to even touch that thing.
That Armagon, man. All right.
I love Armagon. Armagon, awesome. I love that guy. Love Armagon.
Yeah, he's strong.
Did you see cool teams out that way, Chris?
No. Same. I almost faced the same team all day with Overdrive, Dr. Octopus, and or Sam Cap with a Clarion. that was my 4-round leading up.
That was your rotation, was variations of that team.
Exactly.
Yes, it was. That's why I say, going up into the top, 8 or top 16, like, it could be anything, close or ranged. It's not just ranged combat anymore. It's just, whoo, man, it's crazy. Get up in your face and boom, boom, boom.
Yep. Oh, your team was the most creative one then. Congrats.
I gotta say, when I was playing Dano's team, Dano had a great team. He was an X-Men themed team. He was playing Apocalypse Colossus, Apocalypse Weapon X, Chases from Uncanny X-Men together, and the rare white suit Magneto at 90 points to give out ESD. And he had the coolest idea of, like, picking up his Weapon X, okay, after picking up the symbiote, and he would throw it at rocks, like objects that go up to blow up the object, and he'd TK out Wolverine 8 squares with sidestep, just to get you. And I was like, that's pretty cool. That's pretty awesome. The team itself, it had some flaws. Penetrating damage really destroys, or outwit really destroys Colossus. So my Eldritch, I'd be able to pick outwit and say, oh, you have Invincible Colossus. I'll just say nope, and then shoot for, that's a bird. Shoot for 4 and then 3, just end his life quickly. And then as far as Wolverine went, I'm like, Eldritch, you can pick Battle Fury on your next turn. Just Battle Fury through that shape change he picked up. And he's like, oh, yeah, you can do that. So...
We'll say George's team was pretty cool too. He was running a themed. Was it cosmic theme team that his was, or was it? Do you remember, Eric?
It was also a cosmic theme.
It was cosmic. He was
a,
running Mistress Death, Claw, and Nebula, the Chase Nebula from the Guardians of the Galaxy movie too. And his plan was to just use Mistress Death to make people take double damage, but he wasn't able to get positioned right because he kept getting put up against teams with the Green Lantern from Joker's Wild, and he just couldn't get it set up right to be able to do the damage.
No, it wasn't Claw, it was Necrone for the stealth.
That's right, the Bat God. That's right. He was originally going to run Claw, and then he changed it.
Yeah. He did.
I'm back.
That's awesome.
Okay, Brandon, did you catch the question before you got your new
Can
computer?
you talk
set up?
about the most interesting, I guess, the most creative teams?
Yeah, I guess you didn't go to a ROC, but have you seen a creative team that would have gone, or if you saw an article or something?
I think so. On T3, that double Sam Cap team with Riddler, Renette Tilly, that was, and then that was a freaking. Oh, and also had a Henry on it. Very clever team, I thought.
Well, sorry.
I would have thought of, and I think I've always overlooked that Riddler. I never realized how good that Riddler was and how freaking great he's about to be.
Right, he's going to be done with the rules. What's up, Pedro?
No, I was just saying Thiago's team was super creative. Wyrm as the calling guy, Peacekeeper, Peace Machine, and the Colossal. So the Colossals are not too creative, but having Peace Machine and Wyrm put together for call-ins, and if you think that Nick Fury is aggressive, picture him calling Nick Fury, which he did, rolling a 6 and giving range combat expert to Nick Fury. He gets a lot better.
Oh, all those wishes. Oh, man.
He gets a lot better.
That's gnarly. All right. Well, that's all our questions from Facebook. Pedro, do we get any in the chat?
Yep. Only one.
Just the one.
From Dano to Colin, saying, Colin, how do the ladies react now that you are the state champ?
I commented back to him, but I don't know if he saw it or what. But I made a joke. I'm like, girls care about HeroClix? This is the first I'm hearing of that. But yeah, no. Yeah, that's about it.
Fair enough. Thanks, Colin. All right, guys. Well, I think that's going to wrap up for this evening. Hopefully all you guys watching at home, either during the live show or afterwards in the archives, thank you for joining us, listening to us talk about the ROC and all of our awesome adventures we had. We appreciate all of you out there. Just keep on watching, keep on clicking, and always remember, guys, stay the lines, guys.
And always remember, strike
first. Strike hard.
Strike hard.
Very good, guys. All right. Have a good night, guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you on the next one in a couple weeks. Later.
Good night, guys.